Today on the channel, we're looking at I.Joe Classified Series number 76, Range Viper, on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? I.Joe Classified Series Range Vipers, what we're tackling today on Way I Got It Figured. This figure is number 76 in the line, and it is a Walmart exclusive. Obviously, I got this figure from Walmart, but I got it through my good buddy and friend of the channel, Phil, over at Crossfire Collectibles. I'm churning out these I.Joe Classified reviews, really trying to get kind of a really good schedule going on them, and getting to the Range Viper now. And I gotta say, this figure is pretty good. Not that we probably don't know that by now, but you know, I am gonna give my impressions on the figure and do some comparisons, look at the packaging, and get you out of here with some final thoughts. The Range Viper is the Cobra equivalent of a U.S. Army Ranger or a British Special Air Services member. They are sort of tasked with going out into the wilderness and being self-sufficient to raid enemy weapons, outposts, and things like that. They find their own weapons in the field and that sort of thing. You know, they're actually kind of cool, kind of a cool concept for Cobra. They were originally introduced in 1990 in the 1990 series of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. So much later in the line, but they are very cool, very cool. So first thing we're going to do, as usual, is look at the packaging. So starting with the packaging, you got the Range Viper in his sort of jungle forest type element, and we have dark energon infused into the area. You got your artwork of the Range Viper, his not inconsiderable load out of equipment. On the side, you got the artwork once again. Pretty good looking art. On the side, you got this number 76 and QR code, and it is combat symbols for the file card. And I'll leave the QR code up long enough for you to take a copy of it. Then on the back, we've got his equipment, tail of the tape, and the insets that we always get. So this figure sits 6.3 inches in height, and you've got your nice little insets there. One curious thing about it is they did not put the numbers for the file card in this area as they normally do, but I'll overlay them on the screen. I do know what they are. So he has a 2 environmental specialist. I'm sorry, he has a 3 environmental specialist, a 2 launcher, a 2 covert operations, and a 2 Recon. So that's your combat symbols, and I'll put larger ones in the video so you can see them. That's your look at the box, though. There you go. And we will move on, of course, to the Range Viper proper. So first, just taking a look at the equipment. Like I said, it comes with a substantial amount of stuff. which is nice. Started with the backpack. So it is a more or less direct copy of the 1990 backpack, maybe a little bit updated, and it does have an inset to, you know, house the weapon, sort of stores weapon. Other than that, you know, it's pretty much it. Of course, it does have the hose to connect to the back of the helmet. You got an ammo belt to, you know, put over his shoulder and complete the look of the range Viper. And you've got the grenade launcher, bloop gun, as they say sometimes, back in the day anyway. Neckerchief, which I believe is the same one that the Viper comes with. It comes with, of all things, a sigh. Not sure why, but you know, we'll take it. Also comes with a handgun, sidearm. I don't think we've seen this one before. Pickaxe. Some kind of light machine gun. I don't think there's a real world equivalent of this. And an ammo cartridge for the machine gun. Looking at the range Viper himself, it's very cool. It's got on the vest and a sub belt as well. You got the two leg pouches. One's a holster, the other one's just sort of a decoration. Like he's got some grenades for the grenade launcher there. And if it's not obvious by now, or if you haven't seen any other range Viper videos, the body is totally Outback, for the exception, of course, the boots and the head. These knee pads are painted, but I think they're still the same ones as on Outback. They feel the same, but they look different because they're painted, but they're the same. They're the same ones. So his body, all of this is Outback, and he's got different boots, of course, and obviously that's not Outback's head. So as far as articulation, even though I find it rather rote at this point, he has obviously the ability to do a T. You can turn his head around 360. He can look down, but the way the head is, looking up is much more of a challenge. It only goes about there. While Outback does have a ab crunch, the range Viper's ab crunch is pretty much gone because of the vest and the sub belt. I'm going to pull the belt down to where kind of belt should be. Obviously, your usual drop down legs, your usual thigh cut, your usual boot cut, your usual ankle rocker, your usual wrist articulation. It's all there. It's all Outbacks. So if you've seen the Outback video, if you see my Outback videos, I go over the articulation there. It's all pretty much the same stuff, just a little bit different in terms of obviously the paint and the equipment that he's going to come with. But it's a very nice looking figure. Outback was a great choice to use for the body. Very nice, very nicely done. So next we're going to get him geared up offline, and we'll return in a second. So we're back with the Range Viper all loaded up with its gear. Everything's been stowed away that can be stowed. One of the great things about the G.I. Joe Classified Series line is the general ability to store the character's gear all, you know, across the figure. The only thing where there's no actual storage place is for the axe, at least that I could determine. And I don't think I've seen any Range Viper videos where anybody else was able to determine it either. So I just don't think there's anywhere really for it to go. It's very interesting, you know, Outback comes with a shovel, the Range Viper comes with an axe, kind of a pickaxe. It is a multi-tool. It has, you know, a little tool thing on the bottom. And with him all geared up, you know, he looks pretty amazing. It's a very toyetic character, or, you know, group of characters, if you will, in the G.I. Joe line. And it looks good. I sort of turned his head out of range for the hose to stay in. That was on me. We'll just plug that back in. Yeah, well equipped. You know, got a little radio, more equipment, whatever this stuff is, electronics. You can put the bloop gun in that little slot in the backpack. The side just plugs right in there. Doesn't hamper the backpack in any way. You got your sidearm there. And he can hold his light machine gun with no problem. So yeah, it's a great figure. It looks good. I like smart reuse, you know, in G.I. Joe Classified Series and a lot of Hasbro lines, Marvel Legends, Transformers. There's always going to be reuse. And the question is that reuse baked in, or is it well done, or is it a retool, or, you know, how do they go about it? And honestly, maybe for a while in the early parts of G.I. Joe Classified Series, the reuse wasn't necessarily the best. I don't think it was ever that bad, but it wasn't necessarily the best. Whereas now they're making choices that seem to be kind of really inspired choices. Obviously, when they plan these things out, they probably plan most of them in advance. So maybe the Range Viper was already known that it was going to be a Range Viper when they made Outback. Kind of seems like it because everything just works so well. But yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. I like this just as much as I like the Arctic Bat. And, you know, I said I like that very much if you watch my video. So let's bring in couple of comparisons. The most obvious comparison, obviously, is going to be Outback. Tiger Force Outback was the one that was most available at the time, so I brought him in just in case you doubt the sameness of the figure. As you can see, the wrinkle patterns on the pants are the same. The boots obviously are different. The arms are obviously the same. The t-shirt is the same. It's the same figure. But that's not a bad thing. You know, they disguised it just about as well as you could. And it does still look like a range viper. And then the last video, I brought in Stalker, another ranger. So this time we'll use Snake Eyes as the ranger. They stand at both. They're all these figures stand at 6.3 inches. So you know, there's your height, and he's about average. He's about the average height of a G.I. Joe classified series figure. It's not too tall, not too short. So yeah, there you go. That's your comparisons. I'm going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 76, Range Viper. As I said earlier, it's a great figure. I'm very happy they added it to the collection. 1990, the 1990 series of G.I. Joe, which I think is like Series 6, something like that. Maybe 8, Series 8. You know, there's not a lot of guys from that series, from that late in the game. But between him and Big Ben and the Alley Viper, now we've got Nunchuck coming. They are getting up there in those later years of a real American hero. And I'm here for it, man. Range Viper's great. You know, it's already off of the Outback body, which, you know, is a really cool figure, particularly the Tiger Force version. Obviously the regular Outback, you know, I gotta take a shot. You know, he looks so plastic. The face, the head sculpt was made on a really weird plastic, so I didn't like him as much. But Outback is one of my favorite characters, so, you know, if they want to do something with an Outback body, then great. So I'm gonna give the Range Viper, I'm gonna give him a 9. He's better than an 8. Don't want to go as far as to call him a 10, but it is a great figure with a great set of accessories. Again, it's a very toyetic figure. It's even more toyetic than Outback himself. You know, I think it's an equal figure to the Outback overall thing. So yeah, I think 9 is a good one for this guy. He's up there. He is a must-get figure. Even if you weren't collecting G.I. Joe in 1990 or done by that point or whatever, in the classified series, you have a chance to make up for that and have a really cool addition to your Cobra Legions. So that's going to be it for that. Thanks everybody for the continued support. All the new subscribers, thank you so much for joining up with the channel, and I hope you'll stick around to see future content. I'm going to leave it there. Everybody stay safe, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.